Today is Sunday, August 21st, 2022. It is also day 194 of Blender, and today I'm going to do a text animation with geometry nodes in Blender. So I'm going to go to the top and click on geometry nodes. I'm going to hide the spreadsheet, click on new for a new geometry node system, and then I'm going to disconnect the input from the output, and then I'll do Shift A and get a string to curves node and connect that to my output so I could see it. I don't see anything yet because I don't have anything set as my string. By the way, string and text are the same thing. So I'm going to say something like error, and now I'll be able to see it on the viewport. Um, but it's kind of flat, and I want it to like stand up, so I'll do Shift A and get a transform node, and I'll just connect that here in the middle and change the rotation of the X to be 90. And what that tells Blender is to rotate the string or the text 90 degrees around the X-axis, which is the red one over here. Now to give it some fill, I'll do Shift A and get a fill curve node, which fills up the curves and give it some faces. So I'll change the font, not the font, the fill type to be Ngons. And then I'll do Shift A and get a, what is it, an extrude mesh node. And that's going to give the letter some thickness, and I'll just change the font size to be 0.1. Not font size, why do I keep saying font? I mean the offset value. And if I go to the back, I notice that the letters are not filled in the back, so what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get a join geometry node, and I'll put that at the end, and I'll make sure that the fill curve along with the extrusion mesh node are joined, and now it's going to be joining those two nodes together. Now, for the fun part, I downloaded this font by Vladimir Nikolai or Nikolic um, in dafont.com, and it's called Static. And I just go to the folder here and I go to desktop font because that's where I have my fonts, and open that font, and it's going to look like this. And then what I'll do is I think I'm just going to leave it. I don't know, maybe I'll do Shift A and get a set material node. I don't know what color I'm gonna do. Maybe I'm gonna do emission, so that it's like, let me go to material preview at the top and go here and change the surface to emission so that's going to be glow in the dark. And then I'll do Shift A and add a mesh plane, S to scale, so to make it bigger, and then G to grab, and then X to grab along the X axis. And then I'll do edit mode by pressing tab, and then I'll go to the top left here and select edge select the back edge and then do E to extrude, but I want to extrude like on the Z axis, the blue one. So I'll do Z to extrude upwards, and then I'll go back into object mode by pressing tab, and then I'll go to modifiers, which is the wrench icon, and add a bevel so I can increase the amount and increase the segments, and it acts as a backdrop. And then I'm going to apply this and then right click shade smooth, go to material properties, and I'll click on new, change the base color to be black so that error actually stands out, and I'll do S and then X to scale along the X axis. And then at that point, I'm going to delete the light. So I'll press on the light and press X to delete. I'm going to go to render, preview, and it's going to end up looking like this. Now I'm going to go to render properties and turn on ambient occlusion and bloom. And then I'll go back to what is this called again? Material properties for the text, and just increase the strength. And then that's going to kind of make it glow in the dark. So that's kind of the effect that I'm going for. So I just don't know if I want to make it white or another color, but whatever. I'm just gonna do G and Z to bring it down a little bit. All right. And then maybe just bring down the strength a bit. All right. Now onto the animation part. So for me, I don't necessarily want them to bounce because I feel like this is static. So maybe I want them to move left and right a bit. So maybe I'll try to figure it out. So I'll do Shift A and get a translate instances node and put that in here. And what this does, it just moves the string left and right, up and down, or forward and backward. But I don't want them to move at the same time and at the same place. Um, so what I'll do is I'll go to layout and I'll do Shift A and add an empty single arrow. And that is going to act as my controller. So I'll call it control in the outliner. And it's going to control the way that my letters move. So I'm going to drag it. Whoops, I'm going to drag it into my scene over here in the geometry system. And then I'm also going to do Shift A and get a vector math node. And I'm going to change that to say distance instead of add. And then I'm going to get a Shift A position node. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the distance between the position of each letter and the location of the controller, and that distance is what's going to determine how far my letters are going to move. But I don't want them to move in this weird axis. I actually want them to move left and right. So what I'll do is I'll do Shift A and get a combine XYZ node, and I would just now have it like that. And if I move this, whoops, okay. I notice that it moves a little weird. So let's see if I do this Z. That's weird. I know that Y goes up and down. All right. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Let me try something. So I'll do Shift A and get a combine XYZ node, and oops, not combine XYZ. I mean Shift A color ramp, and put that right in here, and then click on, oh, there we go, flip color ramp. All right, now should work beautiful. And then I'll do Shift A. Oh, basically, I didn't even explain that. So what the color ramp does is it kind of acts like a mapping thing. I don't really know the science behind it, honestly. I just know that to put things together, just add a color ramp and just flip it, and it kind of just, I really don't know how it works. I just know that it works. I should study it one day, but just not today. So I'll do Shift A and get, what am I gonna do again? Oh, a multiply. So I'll do a math node and put that in here, and I'll just do multiply, and therefore I can now kind of control the value at which it moves. So if I just do GX on the controller, you can see that it moves like really crazy, but I don't want it to move that crazy. Let's see, I'm just trying to get it like 0.5. And then let's see if I move it. All right, and then maybe do some character spacing. So I'll go to the string node and just do maybe 1.15, something like that. I just don't want it to move too drastically. I kind of want it to move just like a little bit left and right. So I'm just gonna play around with this value until I get it right, honestly. So well, to make it easier, let me go to layout. I'm going to open up my timeline and I'm going to press N. And what I'm going to do is I want a video, right? At the end of the day, I want a video of 80 frames. So I'm going to change the N to be 80. In frame 1, I want my controller to be all the way to the left and to the start of the word right before it starts affecting the letter E. So what I'll do is I'll press G to grab the controller and then X to move along the X axis, and then I'll move it right until it starts affecting the letter E, so kind of about here. And then for me, that position is negative 1.1006 meters. So I'm going to hover over that position over here in the N panel by pressing N. Not by pressing N, you get this by pressing N. But I'm going to hover over the position, and then I'm going to press I to insert a location keyframe on my timeline, which appears as a yellow diamond. And by the end of the video, which is keyframe 80, I want the controller to be all the way at the end, right after it stops affecting the letter R. So I'll do GX and move it at the end over here, which is kind of about here, and then I'm going to hover over that specific location, which is 4.4781 meters for me, and I'm going to press I to insert that keyframe, and now if I play it, the controller is just going to move around by itself. And so now that makes it easier for me to kind of just adjust the multiplier value until I see that it's not overlapping the letters. So if I just do this, I see how far the letters are moving here. Okay, so that is really good. It doesn't like overlap. So I could do 0.1 and just play around with that. All right, and then to control the speed at which it moves, I can do Shift A and get a float curve node and put that right before the multiplier, and I can just control the way it moves. So now it's going to move more rigidly, and then this web would move like a little bit like that. So it kind of just depends what I want to do with this, and I just play around. I could do 0.2. Right, something like that. I could do something like this and just bring this down a bit. There we go, beautiful. So maybe I'll do something like this. My bad, I'm just playing around with these values until I feel like I got it. Okay, so that way it moves kind of like static, so it goes left and right, left and right. But I want it to be smoother, so maybe 0.1. All right, I think that's fine. All right, I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay, so then at this point, I'm not sure if I want to have it black or just like a different color. Oops, that's the background. I meant to do the actual text. So I could do green. I think green is pretty cool. I think I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna leave it like that. And then what I'll do now is I'll go to layout and I'll go to render preview and I'm going to press on N and I'm going to press on the button under the escape key and then I'm going to hover over front and then that kind of aligns, my front view so it's easier for me to align my camera. So I'm just going to click the middle mouse button to kind of just go a little bit over here, and then I'm going to do Control Alt Numpad 0. If that doesn't work, go to Edit, Preferences, Input, and then make sure Emulate Numpad is on. And if that still doesn't work, it's probably because you don't have a camera, so just do Shift A and add a camera. All right, and then to get out of this view, middle mouse button. To go back into the view, Numpad 0. All right, so I'm just going to go a little bit more in, so Control Alt Numpad 0, just maybe kind of something like this, a little down, Control Numpad 0. And it's actually, I can really zoom in because it's not going up, it's just doing something like that. Something like that. And then I could definitely increase or decrease the strength. I think that's good. So the strength for me, I put it as, let's see, 1.9. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And then, let me see. All right, so I decided I'm gonna add a sound. So I downloaded this sound from Pixabay. It's called Air Ambient Soundscape. So I'm gonna go into Blender and I'm gonna go to the top and scroll down if you have a smaller size screen. Go to video editing, and then I'm just gonna pause this and I'm gonna move this all the way to the left and I'm gonna add sound and it should be somewhere in here. This one over here, add sound strip, and then if I play it now, I'll be able to hear that. So I think that's where I'm going to stop. So I'm just gonna, let me see if there's more to it. Let me just do something like 150 so I can hear more of it. All right, I think it's fine. Let me just go back, Control Z 80, and right here, I'm just going to right click and I'm going to click on split, and I'm going to just delete this by pressing X, and then I'm going to go back to my layout and I'm going to hear it now with the sound. All right, so now that I sound like, what am I saying? Now that I hear the sound, I might as well just kind of change the way that this is moving because I feel like it needs to be a little faster. So let's see, what if I do something like this? Let me play it again. If I could just do a vertical split and then get layout, 3D viewport. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. Where is the video sequencer? No, you know what? Let me go to layout and then vertical split over here, geometry node, editor, zoom in, move this over here, and then go back here, and then just play it. Alright, I need it to be smoother though, so... What if I do something like this, but then do something like that? I'll be back when like I figure out like what I want. All right, so I decided I'm gonna go with this curve right here. So the first point is at 0. The second point has these parameters, so 0.5318 and then 0.1437. And then the last one has 1 and then 0.7375. And then for this multiply value, I changed it to 0.2. And then I think that's what I'm gonna go for. And I just want to experiment with one more thing. I don't know if I just want to maybe make it disappear for a while, because if I do, I could do that. Maybe like a little bit throughout the video, like keyframe 15, I can just hide it. I believe if I do, hold up, what's the, oh, it's I. Okay, hold up. Visual location, visual scale, visual blah, 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 scale rotation, location. I want to look at, how do I hide it? That's something I haven't even, let me look at hide, but I can't, oops, okay, Alt hide. Is there any way to hide it? How do I insert like a hidden keyframe? Let me see. I'm just gonna not even. Okay, let me just move it. GZ, move it up. So, oh no, because then when I move it back down, it's gonna translate back down. Never mind, I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Okay, so now onto the rendering part. I'm gonna go to output properties, go to the output, select the folder for my 80 frames to render into. I like to just name it by the date, so 8/21/22, accept, and all of my all my 80 frames are going to render as PNG images. So make sure the file format is there like that. And then I'm going to render animation, and then those images should start rendering in that folder. And it is time to wait now. All right, now that I see that all of my 80 frames are rendered at the top left, I'm just going to click out of here. Okay, wrong thing. And I'm going to go to video editing again, and I'm going to go to all the way to the left, and I'm going to add, oh my God, wait, I forgot. Never mind, it's okay. I'm going to add a image sequence, and I'm going to go to that folder that I just made. I'm going to select the first image, and then I'm going to scroll all the way down and shift select the last image, and then add image strip. That's going to just put all the images together. And so now it's going to be really, really easy to go back to output properties, select another outputs for my video. I'm just going to create a folder in there. And then I'm going to change the format to FFmpeg video. Under encoding, the container should be MPEG-4. The output quality should be high quality. And then under the audio, so that the audio can be listened to, I'm just going to give it a codec. So I'm going to give it MP3. And yeah, that's literally it. And then I'm going to go back to render animation, and then Blender's going to just put all of those frames together super quickly, as you can see at the left, the top left, and the video should be done in a few seconds. So I'm just going to go to desktop, animations, that's where I have it, and then video, and this is the final result. Yep, that's it. Anyway, bye.